Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Encodya on Xbox consoles, or it could be Encodya. Apologies if I am butchering the name. Now, this is a sort of point-and-click, sort of classic style adventure game. It was released on the 5th of November 2021, so it's not been out very long at all. Now, it's developed by Chaos Monger Studios, and it's published by Assemble Entertainment. And I was lucky enough to get a copy for this review, so big thank you to them for that. Now, the plot of this game is basically it's set in Neo Berlin in 2062. So Tina, who is sort of the main girl you play as, is a 9-year-old orphan, and she lives with Sam, 53, her big clumsy robot guardian, who is the other character you get to play as. And they basically live in a rooftop makeshift shelter in obviously Neo Berlin, a dark megalopolis controlled by like different corporations. So Tina's basically an urban jungle kid who has learned to live alone, scavenging from city dumpsters and eking out a living from obviously scraps. Her robot is always with her, programmed to protect her no matter what. So one day, the little girl basically discovers that her father left her an important mission to finish his plan to save the world from grayness. So basically, he's not there anymore. You can imagine what happened, but he wants you basically to save the world. So you and the robot embark on an incredible adventure across different realities, full of bizarre robotic creatures and grotesque human beings. And it says, through puzzles and exciting dialogues, you'll find out the true meaning of being alive. So, as you can see, this is sort of like a 2.5D game. It's got sort of the 2D backdrops, 3D sort of characters in that sort of sense. Now it plays like a classic sort of point-and-click adventure game where you can click on all the like the environments and stuff to interact with them, chat with characters, use the items and solve puzzles, etc. But obviously it's got its own unique sort of style. So basically, it says about the game is basically they've used the sweetness and the creativity of Studio Ghibli, and they've took the setting and atmosphere of Blade Runner, and then they've took the humour and the game style of classic Monkey Island games, and they're what basically inspired the game. And yeah, it's a really cool little game, like I say. It's set in obviously this dystopian future, and it's based on an award-winning short film called Robot Will Protect You. I've never watched it, so I couldn't say how close or how much creative licenses took on that. But I'm definitely going to have a look at that now, actually, and see what it's like, because I kind of enjoy the sort of the world. I like the sort of atmosphere, the sort of look to the game. I really enjoy that. Now, one thing I do like straight away, the voice acting is pretty good in this game, and it's got some really like solid voice actors in this. So Tina, the main person, is voiced by Lizzie Freeman. Now she has voiced characters in all sorts of video games and animes, from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Genshin Impact, all those sort of things. And then Sam, the robot character, is voiced by bloody Richard Epcar, who is like he's Raiden in Mortal Kombat. He voiced the Joker obviously as well in Mortal Kombat. He's in so many games. Ghost in a Shell. He's in that anime. He's in Kingdom Hearts. He's in Lupin the Third. He's in loads of sort of classic animes and loads of sort of amazing games. So if you don't know who he is, highly recommend you check out his sort of resume, because he has been in, and you'll be like, wow, that guy's been in everything. So he was the voice of Giovanni in Pokemon Generations, that short series they did. He was in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. He's been in pretty much, like, if you can think of an anime, he's probably been in it. Naruto, Digimon. Like I say, this guy is sort of like god tier in sort of anime voice acting circles. So they've gone out and got some really good voice acting for this game, and that's what sets it up at the beginning. It's really, really great that they've done that. They say there's over 4,000 lines of dialogue as well, which is really, really great. Now, there's over 34 non-playable characters that you can interact with in the game that are there to bring the world and story to life. They obviously add to they give you sort of plot points, you have to trade with them and stuff like that. So it's the sort of standard sort of gameplay of a classic. Now, this does have some sort of quality of life improvements to other adventure games. You have like this quick travel option, so you can travel to like different sort of major areas. Now, when you get there, you still, if you want to go to certain places in there, you obviously can't travel directly to say like, I want to go to this building or this shop in this area. But it saves you a lot of time backtracking and progressing through each area when you can just go, right, I want to go to downtown, I want to go back to like the rooftops where I start, and it's simple things like that that make up, like, it just makes it feel sort of modern and easier to play, and it cuts down on some of the negative tropes that I find with sort of classic adventure games. Now, the art and sound design is fantastic as well. It really fits in with the aesthetic they're going for, the time frame, etc. So works really well in that sense. It's got cinematic cutscenes, which is nice. They're a bit janky, I must admit. Some of the character models are a bit janky, but it's got a bit of charm to it. They're like over. They sort of look like, they remind me of like either over the top sort of kids cartoon characters, like the bad guys from kids cartoons have then been put into sort of 3D models, sort of like when you see them in the old fashioned, I say old fashioned, but like the classic adventure games where they've got the bigger heads and stuff like that. They just don't always translate perfectly into 3D, but I like the fact that they've done it. I love that all like the areas are sort of animated, like you're watching on the screen now. There's like passing cars, pedestrians, things moving on everything, so it all feels alive. It doesn't just feel static, even though obviously the backgrounds are static and stuff. But there's loads of animated things over them. It just really adds to it, basically. There's loads of sort of Easter eggs and secrets to find in the game as well, which is really, really cool. And there's the puzzles in the game. There are some randomized puzzles. Some people may find this a positive, some people may find this a negative. I have looked online and seen what other people thought. It goes both ways, but it does mean that every time you play it, it's going to be a bit, you're not going to just be able to blitz through it on memory sort of alone. So other than that, like I say, it's really, really cool. Now, there is a achievement linked to, I think you have to beat the game in 3.5 hours. It is doable quite easily once you've played the game, but like I say, on your first playthrough, you'll probably not do that. You'll want to end up interacting with things. But like I say, a quick sort of speed run, you can get under that easily, peasily. But I don't think they should really be in a point-and-click adventure game. I find it a bit odd. That's an achievement. And some of the negatives, there isn't a lot, like I say. It's not bad at all. But sometimes interacting with the sort of non-controllable characters is a bit weird. It doesn't always work how you'd expect it to work, which can be a bit annoying. And then sometimes you'll get items which you think would work in certain, that you'd need for a certain, to like progress in certain areas, and that's not the right item. So that can be a little bit annoying. Another thing, you do get to play as either character, so you can switch on the fly between the robot and Tina. This works great for some of the sort of conversation pieces. So some people don't want to talk to robots because they've got like a prejudice against robots, so you have to talk as the girl. Sometimes it's easier to talk to other robots as Sam the robot, because obviously he is a robot himself. So it adds to the sort of ways you have to interact with people in the world, basically. So sometimes the robot has to do it, sometimes it's Tina, and you've just got to sort of work that out by speaking to people and sort of discovering like what they're into, who they want to talk to, etc. So I really enjoyed that as well. Now, like I say, it's a really sort of nice take on, like a modern take on the sort of classic adventure games. Looks really good. It's got decent sound, etc. The dialogue is alright, like I say, I can't complain about the dialogue, But like I say, the criticisms aren't major. They're just sort of little nagging things like how you interact with people. Every now and again, it isn't perfect. And figuring out how to use some of the buttons took me a while when I first started playing. Like trying to figure out how to combine. Like you have to pick an item from your inventory, then it shuts your inventory, so then you have to reopen your inventory, then drag, and then you think you drag the item down to go onto the items, but you don't. You just move along on your menu. It's a bit finicky, but yeah, it's not too bad. But there are some sort of like deep bits in it, like the story has some darker bits in there. It's got it, but it's well worth it. Like I say, it's a really fun little game. I'd like to see more in this setting. Like I say, I do like the sort of area and stuff like that it's come from. I love the sort of futuristic sort of Berlin setting. I love the flying cars and all that aesthetic. It really reminds me of. I know they say Blade Runner, but I automatically go straight to Fifth Element. I don't know why, but Fifth Element is so much better than Blade Runner, and I'll fight you for that. So, but that's the game. Like I say, it's currently out. Like I say, now it's priced at $29.99 on the Xbox Store, and it is playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S as well. It's single player. I highly recommend it. Like I say, it's a good sort of 7.5 out of 10. So, you know, it all depends on if you enjoy sort of classic adventure games. Like I say, I mean, you may not want to, you may not get as much out of it if you don't. You may, if you don't like the sort of style of classic adventure games, this pub game isn't for you. But it's really nice to see sort of slightly more modern takes on the point-and-click adventure genre, and seeing how they sort of produce the game, basically. So check it out. Like I say, $29.99. Maybe wait for a sale, like I say, if you're not super interested and you just want to go in for the achievements, because I know some of you guys just want your achievements. But you could fly through with a guide in, like I say, within 3.5 hours if you're just going in for the achievements. But I highly recommend at least one full playthrough without a guide, and then maybe just use a guide to pick up any of the sort of missable achievements, and there are a few of them in the game as well. So check your lists before you do start playing. But that's that for this video. Like I say, hope you've enjoyed it. Hope this is something that piques your interest. Like I say, just for the voice cast alone, it's worth experiencing, and the atmosphere and everything just is a bonus on top of that. But like I say, if you have liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. We are inching closer to 500 subs, so it'd be really fantastic to hit that before the end of the year. Please check out our brand new gaming website, xblpartypodcast.com. We've put in all the reviews like going forward on there as well. All of the podcast sort of audio format versions are on there, and we post up regular sort of daily gaming news and updates, mainly focusing on Xbox, but all consoles are covered, indie games, everything basically. So check it out. We've put a lot of heart and soul into it, so we'd love you to sort of have a look and let us know what you think. But that's that for this video. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.